Okay. Rick?
Going back to the prior discussion or the review of what happened with respect to the call system on the train and the operator ignoring that, do we have, there was some, I guess, speculation about having a larger problem. I know we have procedures and we have protocols. Is that a bigger problem than this particular incident? I mean, the calls being ignored, or urgent calls being ignored by operators. I mean, is that prompted us to look at the whole system and say, hey, listen, there's too much pressure being put on operators to adhere to a schedule at the expense of responding to those calls and that kind of stuff? I guess that's my question.
Board Member Van Bever, we always look at those issue such as this very closely, and the Oregonian editorial referenced a case of a number of months ago. In that case, we actually interviewed the operator. She's been off on medical leave unrelated to this or other reasons, but asked her. She indicated, for example, that she heard the call. She said hello, hello, hello back and got no response and reported it, which is what she should have done, to be able to say, was there a faulty microphone? Actually, the microphone can be tested from Central Dispatch, and it was done so, and there was no problem. We actually had right after that, literally within, I want to say, an hour or so, that evening, a couple of field inspectors go out, field people, and actually one in the cab and one at that microphone, no problem. And then lastly, when the vehicle came into the yard for maintenance, checked once again to be sure that that was operating, and it was not. I can't say what happened. I mean, it's very hard to recreate that circumstance, but it does not appear that that was an equipment issue. Was it an operator issue? This kind of comes up about 6 months after the fact, and it's very difficult to recreate exactly what happened.
So you think it's an isolated incident that we don't. It's certainly not typical. It doesn't happen on a daily basis, on a monthly basis.
We certainly review the complaints that come in, and that is our customer service CSI process, and. I've not gone through the analysis, but they are relatively rare that somehow, somebody says, in fact, very rare, somebody said, I got on the microphone and they didn't come to they didn't come on. So it doesn't appear that from the customer side that they're trying to make use of it and somehow it is failing for whatever the reason, that is operator or equipment. It just doesn't appear to be it. And as we double check that equipment, it doesn't appear that the equipment is it. We have asked, in fact, Steve Bannon has asked that to be able to even up the mileage or shorten the mileage between doing a maintenance check on those microphones, just to be absolutely certain that we're not having something, but it's not been historically a problem.
Follow-up. Yeah, Rick, that was a great question, because we just went through, a couple of years of the fear of the public to ride on MAX trains, the crime stats, we added policemen, and that brought uniformed policemen, as you know, we discussed here, and that brought down the stats tremendously.
Absolutely.
I mean, it did. I compliment TriMet, I compliment Shelley's department, and those police departments that helped us bring them down. Rick, just the follow-up is we got to quickly answer the public on this, Fred, because they want to know if they push an emergency button on a MAX train, that it might be somebody dying of a heart attack.
Absolutely.
That they're going to get that response. So I think the quicker we answer this, to the public, I'm talking to the public, so that the perception is that TriMet does, it works. That system works, and that they can ride and be comfortable on a MAX train.
Let me be absolutely clear, Board Member Clarebach. The requirement for operators is that if they are told they are to respond, that they are, in fact, if there's any difficulty, they need to be able to, at a stop, to be able to open the door, be sure if there's anything going on, if they somehow are not able to make, with all the noises in the background, or whatever it is, they are required. It appears in this case we had a rogue operator, in terms of the separation with the 3-year-old, a rogue operator who just thumbed their nose at all the requirements and a very legitimate need, in this case, a very distressed father. And we will take decisive action, and that will be the response that I think that the public is going to hear, and hear loud and clear.
Board Member Clarebach and members, first of all, there's a mantra in the cruise room. It's safety before schedule. So when you think about the operator, they're constantly looking at operating safe and minding their schedule each and every day from that perspective. With the emergency calls, first of all, on the Type 4s, there's an automatic self-check because of the diagnostic capability on the new Type 4 cars that it, every 15 seconds, pulls to make sure communication channels are good. And up in the operator's console, there's a little LED light that blinks that tells the trained technician, and now we've informed the operator, all systems are go on the new Type 4 cars. What Fred talked about before with the periodicity of maintenance. On the Type 1s, 2s, and 3s, they don't have that self-check. There's a number of ways for us to check that, but we have included that inspection now with skilled technicians on a 3,000-mile interval. That's about every 3 weeks. Almost like any time the vehicle comes in for a particular maintenance function, the maintenance technicians will check that prior to releasing it for transportation or service. And then the third thing I'd like to say is over 600 PM inspections on that system alone yielded only 5 failures in that system. So the system is very sound. It is checked frequently, and we are very conscious of the importance of that communication. And then the last thing I would like to say is we have an inordinate number of folks now, because of the recent media, calling the operator for assurance. And we are in the process of training operators. We are communicating to them. We know that there's going to be more use of the system. Please be responsive. And we're moving forward collaboratively as we address these issues.
I would say also the vast majority, I think, in fact, virtually everyone except for a rogue in this case, they care about that customer. They care about if there's something going on. They want to be able to solve a problem. And it's unfortunate that in this case, a rogue operator just doesn't have any regard whatsoever for those, appears not to have any regard whatsoever for those riders to be able to just pull them off.
And it bothers us so much because ridership's up, we solve some problems, and then we get back in the public image. The perception is what gets bigger than even the incident itself. And it's got to be calmed down. I heard it. I was at a police commission meeting last night up in Gresham. And again, the comments are being just out of, and I said, calm down. Let's not get back on TriMet right away. Let's let the system, help, but we have to get an answer back. I think quickly, and I know you.
Well, I think that 9 days from the incident to be able to be taking what is going to be definitive action today is quick, given all the steps we have to go through.
One other comment I'd like to make on your request prior to with the increase in accident rate on the bus side. I looked at the information. It's an increase in miles between accidents. It's actually a good statistic. We have more miles between accidents.
Okay, that's
Yes, that's the 98% increase in
Quite
mileage
mileage.
between accidents, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
Fewer
when you
accidents,
look
yes.
at it, it looked like, when I read it across the line, it looked like, holy